Hey guys, it's your girl Ronnie J, and welcome back to Girl on the Go DC. Welcome! So today we're going to be talking about an allergic reaction I had abroad. So this story takes place in Martinique. Martinique is a French Caribbean island that you probably don't really hear much about because it's not a huge tourist destination. But that's exactly why I thought it would be cool, because I wanted to go and experience a culture and not just be in like a tourist destination. So they speak French. It's a French Caribbean island. The flight there was not long at all. I want to say less than 2 hours, or 2 hours. So yes, so I went to Martinique. On my agenda, I had doing the most. That's basically what I wanted to do while I was there. No, so I stayed at Airbnb. Let's start there. Our host was very gracious. She wanted to actually practice her English, so she was very excited to have us and to speak English to us. The very first night, she arranged for a chef to prepare us an authentic Martinique meal. So I remember there was something called a mouche bouche and a bunch of foods I had never had or tasted before, which was cool because this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to experience new and different things. I've already started eating. However, this is the lobster Josephine lasagna, marlin with, I think it's King Kong sauce.
There was no salad.
That was
garnish.
goat cheese and plantains.
I ain't getting no advertising.
You did.
This is sweet potato and salmon. So I took a tour of the island. Our tour guide was telling us how there are things growing on the island that they don't export at all. So you'll never try these foods unless you're on the island of Martinique. So there was a banana I tried that is only in Martinique. I tried star fruit, which I've never seen before in life. And that's basically what I like to do on vacation, is to try new and different things, whether it's experiences or foods. Oh, so that brings me to sailing. So I spent an excursion. I did a day excursion sailing. No one I traveled with wanted to sail with me, so I did it by myself. And while I was out there, everyone I thought spoke French, but it turns out that everybody also speaks English, which is good to know because I guess I'm learning that in other countries, you pretty much learn a second language, you learn English. Whereas if you live in the US, you don't necessarily fluently learn a second language, but we should, right? So anyway, one of the guys, everyone could swim, first of all, and I couldn't. So there was a part of the sailing excursion where everyone was snorkeling in the ocean, and I couldn't snorkel with them because I can't swim. So I had on the big orange life jacket, and this one guy comes up and he has his little Speedo on. And he said he was a swim instructor and like he could teach me how to swim. So I'm out there with my life jacket on. He's teaching me the moves, which like, I can lightweight swim. I took swim lessons as a kid and I can swim underwater pretty well, but that's not gonna save you at sea because like you have to come up and get air. I can even swim over water a little bit, but like I wouldn't chance it. Like I wouldn't just jump out there and swim. So took those swim lessons with him. That was cool. The next day, our host told us there's this place called Josephine's Bath, and it's a shallow area of water right up my alley that they take you to, but it's like in the middle of the ocean. So you have to go out there on a boat. Fishermen take you out there. It's how they make some money taking tourists out there. They let you out in the shallow part and you get to, you know, kind of enjoy the water if you can't swim. So I got my traveling mates to do that with me. And while we were out at sea, the fishermen let us try sea urchin. They literally dove into the ocean, got some sea urchin, and brought it back up for us to try. And we ate it. So Josephine's bath was supposed to be shallow. Let me rewind, because our first stop was this place called like Iguana Island, and it's a safe haven for iguanas. And we just walked around and like saw the iguanas chilling around the island, which was pretty cool. But then we went out to Josephine's bath, and it was supposed to be shallow, but it turned out to be not. It was shallower than the rest of the ocean, but it wasn't like I'm 5'7", I can stand up and I can touch the floor of the ocean shallow. So of course, all the other tourists on the boat with us, it was like a little speedboat. They got out, swam out, were snorkeling. And me and my friends are just sitting there like, wow, sure looks fun. So I decided to use my newfound swimming skills and to just go out there, because I could see where it was shallow and people were standing up. And I felt like even if I have to swim underwater, I could probably hold my breath and make it there to that shallow point and back. So I jumped into the ocean, I swam out there, and I snorkeled. On the way back to shore, the fishermen dove into the ocean and got a sea urchin. And what you see here is him letting all of us try the sea urchin. So that was cool. I really enjoyed Martinique. To wrap up this, so we ended this day. One of the guys with us was a chef. So we bought some fish from the fishermen. We bought some lobster. We were taking it back to grill. We went to the grocery store, and the chef, the guy with us who was a chef, was gonna prepare us a meal. So by that evening, my lip was starting to swell up. Let me show you. So initially I was like, you know, I think it's sunburn, we've been in the sun all day, it's just affecting me somehow. I'm gonna power through it. Our Airbnb host came over for dinner that night, and she told me that to put rum on it. Apparently that's what they do. It's like a local remedy. Put some rum on it, went to bed, woke up the next morning, lip was swole, like carry me swole. So at this point, I'm freaking out. I've never had an allergic reaction in life, and I wake up with my lip huge. I have no idea what's going to happen next. So the first thing I do is grab my insurance card. You should always travel with your insurance card. I looked on the back of the card and there was a number to call for a nurse hotline. I didn't know that existed. I just figured there'd be something I could use or that would be useful on my insurance card. So I called the nurse hotline, got a nurse on the line. Oh, the other thing, you should always have an international calling plan for emergencies like this. With AT&T, it was like $10 a day for the international plan. And that just came in handy for this situation. So I spoke to the nurse, told her what was going on. It was actually kind of hard to talk because my lip was swollen. So, and I told her that as well. She basically asked a few questions. She asked, how was my breathing? Was my throat feeling like it was swelling up, and it wasn't. However, because it was my first allergic reaction, I didn't know what was gonna happen next. So I'm like really freaking out. So she told me to put ice on my lip that would help with the swelling, and I should go to the nearest ER, and she provided for me. I gave her my location and she provided the nearest emergency room. So at that point, I decided I'm going to the ER. I messaged my Airbnb host because at this point we've been in constant communication. She's been super helpful, and I let her know what was going on. And this was all before like 9 a.m. So she tells me like, it's the middle of rush hour. It's gonna take you an hour to get to that ER. Go to my doctor. My doctor is closer. So she gives me an address for her doctor. I go there. It's not open yet. There's people basically forming a line outside of the doctor's office, waiting for the doctor to get in. So I'm out there. I have like a can of beer that I'm holding to my lip because we didn't really have ice packs or anything in the house. And I'm just waiting for my turn to speak to the doctor. The other thing is, so in Martinique, they speak French. Not everyone speaks English, although most do. So this doctor did not speak English. But on my phone, I have an app called iTranslate. I think it's like 99 cents. It's super cheap, but it comes in handy when you travel, or you can use Google Translate. But basically, I can speak into the app in English and it'll translate it to French. So I told the doctor what was going on. He spoke back to me through the app and basically prescribed a cream for me. This doctor's office was unusual. There was no secretary. There was no check-in process. It was literally the doctor comes, unlocks the door. There's a waiting room. There's his office, and that's it. You know what order you came in. You know who's first. You know who's second, and it's really self-managed in that way. So I went in. He basically prescribed a cream for my lip. Downstairs there was a pharmacy, so I took the prescription down there, got it filled, and that was it. That was our last day in Martinique, so I opted to stay in and not do any activities because my lip was just huge and I thought it would be just a distraction. I didn't want to deal with people staring at me. So I stayed in, iced my lip, used the cream, and it took about maybe 2 days for the swelling to actually go down. And my lip just started to like crust over. And as the swelling went down, there was just extra skin that was peeling off. But I just thank God that, you know, that's as bad as the reaction was. I still have no idea what I'm allergic to. When I came back, I did make an appointment to get an allergy test. There's like a generic test they give you here in the US, and I told them I was in the Caribbean and I was eating these different foods. I tried Christophine, I tried sea urchin, I tried star fruit. None of that was on the list that was like tested. So it came back that I wasn't allergic to anything, of course. I've never had an allergic reaction before in the States. So I still have no idea what caused it, but my doctor did tell me that you should travel with Benadryl. That was the other thing. Because in Martinique, stores close at a certain time. I want to say it's kind of early. It's like 6-ish. And you're supposed to like go home and spend time with your family. So there was nothing open for me to like get Benadryl that evening. And then in the morning, of course, my lip was swollen. I just went to the doctor. But now when I travel abroad, I take Benadryl with me. My doctor actually recommended doing children's Benadryl because you can get a chewable tablet, which apparently is a little bit easier if you're having an allergic reaction. So I travel with that now. The main things I would say, if you are having an allergic reaction abroad, it's important to have your insurance card, of course. Maybe, I mean, I don't know how I actually had a doctor's office that did video visits before. It's called One Medical, so you might want to look into something like that. But having that insurance card, being able to like call a nurse hotline, having that Benadryl with you, and having an app on your phone so you can talk to locals, and also befriending the locals, because without the help from my Airbnb host, I would have never known that there was a doctor's office closer that I could go to. Speaking of that, I think he charged me like 20 euros or something. It was like a flat rate for seeing the doctor, and there was no, you know, what's your insurance type of thing. It was just like you pay him and that's it, which is very different from the US. But yeah, I thought it was affordable. And that's basically how I survived my allergic reaction abroad. If you've been to Martinique, tell me about your experience in the comments below. And if you've had an allergic reaction abroad, tell me how you dealt with that situation. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye.